as you know, that there was an attempt on the lives of over 300 or so Americans in midair, and maybe more, had the catastrophe occurred and things went down the way they were supposed to go down. A flight headed from Europe to Detroit was boarded by a young Nigerian boy, and he was carrying explosives and was planning to blow the plane up in midair. By the grace of Allah, by the mercy of Allah, the man did not succeed in his plot. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for saving the lives of all of those people and preserving them, because we know not only would that their deaths be something senseless and would not prove any point, except for the fact that there are still some idiots out there who are willing to have the blood of innocent men, women, and children, Muslim and non-Muslim, on their hands. But not only would the deaths of these people be senseless and only prove the idiocy and the further expansion of this foolish, deviant, extremist brand of Islam, but it would serve to further turn the tide of dislike and hatred and suspicion towards the Muslims. Not that it hasn't already done so. There are thousands of people who, after the words of President Obama explaining to the American people the stance of America, the American people, at least the Obama administration, towards Islam, there were thousands, millions of Americans who, after seeing many prominent Muslims in their community doing things, being upstanding citizens in their community, befriending Muslims, Muslims holding free health clinics during the healthcare debate in Chicago, in the Virginia, Maryland area, in Texas, people volunteering, Muslims standing up, being active citizens in America. Thousands, millions of people were changing their minds and deciding not to listen to what the popular media is trying to say about Islam and Muslims. But we see these murderous, evil people trying to, again, turn the tide of hatred against the Muslims. So this is definitely a sad development, and we seek refuge in Allah from these types of actions. And this whole scenario is like a play. And when you look at the whole situation, you have all the different casts of characters. You have this young man, this young Nigerian boy who plotted and planned to carry out the attack. He represents the Muslim youth of today. This young man who was taken at a very young and tender age, and his mind filled with poison against humanity, against innocent human beings. He has been poisoned with a deviant and extreme form of Islam that teaches death and destruction is the way to Allah's pleasure. Nothing could be more further from the truth. In this, the people on the plane represent the common folk of America. Many people, if you ask them, do you have a particular hatred for Islam and Muslims? They will say no, but we are afraid of what they are trying to do to us in our country. And they're right to be afraid, for some of them, because there are some murderous people out there trying to kill them. And there's so many Muslims out there who are not speaking up. And those who are speaking up, like me and several others, prominent Muslims, they're not being given a forum to speak. So here's the deal. The people on the plane are the common folk of America who are left with what message of Islam? We're out for your blood. And you have the father of this young man in Nigeria who called the American government, the United States government, and contacted his embassy in his area and said, look, I am afraid that my son has been radicalized. Please watch out for him. I think he's going to plot an attack. Save yourself and save my son as well. This man's father represents the majority of the Muslims of the world, who, if given the opportunity to stop these murderous, bloodthirsty killers, who were given an opportunity to report this type of crime that would be committed against innocent men, women, and children, they would definitely do so. And they reject, lock, stock, and barrel, this extreme form of Islam that is thirsty for the blood of not only non-Muslims, but Muslims as well. And as a matter of fact, there is another group of people who are blocking all the Muslims together. The man like this father and his son, they're lumping them all in one pot. And if you heard Dick Cheney speaking out against the Obama administration saying, I don't know why President Obama won't realize that we're in a war. And as a matter of fact, I heard Chris Matthews on his program Hardball was talking to one of Dick Cheney's former assistants. And he was talking to him about the mindset of the neoconservatives.
And here's my concern, and I don't limit this to Dick Cheney, your old boss, the man you're loyal to, but I do think he's part of this problem. Every person on the right has used this attack or this attempt on our lives on that plane to go through their checklist of wars they'd like to start. Some people want to go to Yemen. This guy, Michael, whatever his name is in the New York Post, wants to go to war with Iran now. He says this is grounds for regime change. You know what that means? That means go to war again. These guys on the right are dying for an all-fronts war on Islam. Every country they want to go to war with. Well, Michael Ledeen, let's go to war in Syria. Let's go to war with Iran. Now it's Yemen. They want an all-front war with the billion-person Islamic world. That's what our enemy wants to start. Doesn't anybody get it on the right? That what the enemies of America want is an Islamic war against the United States. 1 million people forced to choose between East and West. That's what they want. And your guys sometimes sound like they want it too. Does Dick Cheney want an all-out war with Islam? Is that what he wants?
Well, of course not, Chris.
Well, then why does he talk like this?
Chris, I think the notion that we need to recognize...
You just said yourself. You had to throw the shot at the guy's religion on Christmas.
Chris, let me...
They make a point, these neoconservatives make a point that say, look, this was an attack, thwarted attack from a radical Muslim extremist. They throw extremist in there just to try to be politically correct. But what they really want to say, this is just an attack from a Muslim on Christmas Day. He's trying to attack us, a Christian nation, on Christmas, trying to make that link or whatever. Okay, let's put aside that some jerkwad over there in Yemen is trying to make those types of connections. This was one person, and whoever planned it were a few people. I'm here, and I represent the millions of Muslims here in America that don't want any part of this ideology, and who recognize and can prove from the Quran and the Sunnah that it is a deviation, it is heresy, and they are deviants. They have gone astray. All right? So the point here is there are those people like Dick Cheney and those plotters over there in Yemen who want a war. The Muslim extremists want a war with America. They are trying to topple it just like the Soviet Union was toppled. They're like, it's the next superpower to go. And the neoconservatives think that it is your Christian duty to fight Islam and the rise of Islam in the world. And Al-Qaeda and every other person out there, including people like me, are all part of the problem. And they need to be eradicated. And you and I, Americans, common folk, people here, just trying to live their lives, raise their children, make a decent living, and die and go to God in peace, you and I are sitting in the middle. More great stuff coming up, so you don't want to miss it. Stay with us. Islamic radio broadcast program.
Too big to fail.